increments.
5 minute increments.
We just need to make sure when it goes back live, there's some disclaimer, so that if anybody wants to complain, that it can be explained. And under our best practices from Attorney General Derek Schmidt, I think as long as we can explain what's happening, we should be.
Hey, wait.
We'll start. 2 minutes. Have I been at the VA in Leavenworth? No. Been at the VA in Topeka, but not Leavenworth, and I haven't been there for 3 weeks. I've been to New York City for a month, so.
It is back up.
It's
It is back up.
It is back up. Walk to the break. So it's coming up faster than yeah. Well, you get to schedule it, but it's always made increments. I think as soon as I click live, it did.
For $100. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. But we do have other non-essential personnel that are performing tasks they normally would perform because. Plus, extraordinary times just require extraordinary sacrifice. It is what it is. As a team, we succeed.
We are recording.
Yes.
We're live.
It's live.
So we're back up.
Back in.
Connie had, we have 2 other executive sessions.
Do we want to maybe take a roundtable, because we're gonna have to go down again and back up and down, so kind of do things out of order.
All right. You have anything for roundtable, Lee?
I do, so we received an invoice from McGrath, and if you recall from reviewing the initial, or the contract, the initial payment at the start of the project is $5,000. The question is, what account does that $5,000 need to come from? I don't know if that was designated previously, and it probably doesn't hurt for it to be done in an open session so that we know. Try to go back, and maybe it was mentioned a long time ago, but.
Attorneys.
Sure.
I don't where we would.
I would say courthouse general fund, courthouse general. That's the line item.
Yeah, we contractuals, yeah, that would work, yeah. The hard.
So courthouse general.
General fund, courthouse general.
That's all I have for today.
Angie, do you have anything else for roundtable?
Well, I handed out a map that Glenberg gave to me to pass on to you guys. And it's one that's got X's on it and shows, red is closed of some sort, black shows them not to close at all, where you see those X's, and then others have not decided as of yet. So that was just something she asked me to pass on to you guys. And I have talked with my janitorial staff again, and they're doing a really good job cleaning and trying to stay up on all that. I continue to look for supplies that we can order for cleaning and disinfecting sprays. I've got shipments coming in this week to try to get more of those out to offices to try to keep everything as clean as we possibly can. And then the last thing I had was we have, which I handed out to Wade, and he's reviewing that, but it's talks about Families First Coronavirus Response Act. And there's a lot to that bill, and I think Wade, you'll be updating them on that later, maybe next week or something. It takes effect March 2nd or April 2nd, so I just wanted to mention that we have gotten some information on how to handle special circumstances, so probably next week when Wade has time, he can update you on that, so. And I think that's all I have on that, so.
No.
Donna, you have anything for the roundtable?
So I haven't heard for sure whether or not Tom and Cody, your class is gonna be canceled or not, legal aspects of management and DeSoto, which is part of your commissioner's leadership training. Have you heard anything?
I have not.
I have
Okay,
not.
I'll try to make
I would
contact.
assume so.
It's scheduled for Friday, the 27th.
Yeah. I'm not going. Tom canceled it.
Okay.
I'm not going to move.
If there's stay-at-home order.
DeSoto,
It's in Douglas, so yeah.
Well, I'm assuming it's canceled.
And then also the Spring County Commissioner Highway Officials Meeting scheduled for April 16th has been canceled.
It's been canceled.
That's all I have.
We want to go in and excuse me. Connie?
Can I have 5 minutes for personnel, for the commissioners and
Wade, would it be correct to say that we're going to have three executive sessions and we're not going to be waiting for the camera to come back up between them? We're just going to go from one to the other, and if any action taken, then we will.
I think,
Or
so under the Open Meetings Act, I think that needs to be the motion part of it and the reason why. I mean, I know there's some relaxed guidance out there, but I think that is one of the core functions of.
We'll leave it on and recess to our chambers upstairs
Could do
for
that.
the executive session.
that.
Down.
yeah, we can do that.
Maintain your 6 feet.
So that will probably solve that, and then we can
Okay.
come back in and there's not an issue.
To eliminate that. So
So,
So 5 minutes plus the time it takes to go upstairs and come back down,
10 minutes,
10 minutes.
and that would be executive session to protect privacy rights of non-elected personnel under the non-elected personnel matters exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, KSA 75-4319B1.
10 minutes, commission, you and county, Fraser, Connie,
Correct.
and to return here.
Return here. Are you making that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Bob moves, is there a second?
Second. Go ahead, don't make yours, Tom.
Bob has moved, Tom has seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Go in at 11:58 for 10 minutes, return here.
First time we have to leave.
This is kind of interesting.
Anybody want to entertain?
You got hand
You're
sanitizer.
not dancing around, you go up and dance now. It's gonna be live.
Hey, so how do you get, right, but how do you get that live stream?
Go to YouTube, copy that information,
Okay.
keep your distance,
I'm on YouTube,
so type in the search bar,
search bar,
Coffee
County Commission. Okay.
there should be a tab, it should pop up with a red live. Red tag somewhere. Yeah, I'm used to the look.
Oh, go back to that red. Oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh, that red button there?
And maybe, 1 minute, go back. It is on the home.
Yeah, I'm just in fact, okay, here we go.
Should be a live, a tab that says live somewhere. That's. Pretty good.
Let's do that.
Hit subscribe.
Or what about now that?
No, that's back to the general YouTube.
Because it uploaded 10 minutes ago, but
You're on home, how about that video?
live streams, how about that? Goddamn iPhones anyway. Gosh darn iPhones anyway.
Live.
Okay.
Turn it up and you'll hear yourself cuss.
I do cuss and I apologize for any words I use that are not acceptable.
It's not the views of the sheriff's office.
It's not the views of the sheriff's office, it's my words as an individual. Damn it.
Seriously, you need to shut down the
Yeah. I got a question, Brad. With the lake shutting down, but they hit me up that their phone they have out there, they're not
Hey,
on
that's cool.
VoIP, right? They're just a regular landline. Okay, do they?
Sorry.
Because they're a regular landline phone.
So this community
Is
ice
a
machine, we
personal
want to shut
phone
down.
up there. Sorry, do I just go buy another phone? Okay, I didn't know if
I
there's any.
think there is a phone line that will replace.
Right.
And you just. I don't know why it's cutting me
Just
off.
a
You
normal
were
phone
me.
line. So it
You want
doesn't
this ice
require-
machine shut down?
That's what Dawn picked me up. If you have a regular phone that he brought. And it's starting.
Sure, I'm just saying, it's a community ice
So
machine.
she's gonna buy one. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't know if it required anything special. I know we.
Just think about it.
Separate.
Okay.
It's just plain old phone.
But-
Okay.
I don't have enough. They have a play on. Yeah.
I didn't make an answer from wildlife.
If there was one, it did some more.
There's still two back there, or one or two of those are active. When you start, what for?
Copper phone lines. Okay.
Oh,
I was thinking I'm about some.
With all these people.
It's regular.
Hey, what's up, Bradley?
I don't know. What they're planning on when we come back in. Yeah. They have to say something, don't they, about what they've decided?
I don't know.
I think the issue is if you send part of the people home with pay, what do you do for the ones that are here working with pay? And like Quebec County, there was also.
I need to go.
office, you were about to do that. I had no idea what work was going on. That's not the way they do it. Well, so we switched, and that's fine. You're on a composite 18, that's fine. Well, I don't know what did that. Well, you know, the reality, the public schools is still much better. Still, one of the biggest, one was sent out to teachers, started to drink. Corporal punishment, that's what they said. Well, we're expecting it to come back, yeah, you watch. And Randy has another landline for you. Oh, he's oh, he thought they were still wearing the phone is on. Actually, I was.
You guys get some exercise, right?
I love it.
Yep, that's why we didn't turn it off. 2 minutes.
We got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love to say, oh, yeah. Because they got a test in my mind, that's what we're going to
I'm gonna go to my computer for a minute. No, I'll be back.
Maybe the post. Videos on there.
That's gonna carry one, yeah.
Glad you'll be in concert now.
sing us a tune.
Oh, come on. I ain't that bad.
Right.
Are the fish fighting, Don? Are the fish fighting?
Yes,
Yes.
bunches of them. That's why I hate to see it close down.
Yeah, they'll have to go over to Redmond. They'll go over to Redmond to catch them.
Over the weekend, we had a boat out at Redmond conk out that we had to go rescue.
I still have seen you guys go by the
Yeah.
house. That was yesterday.
Yeah, they closed down everything except the fishing part at the port. The boat ramps are still open.
Resolution last week.
State haven't closed.
The state lakes have not, you're right. I know somebody asked me about Melbourne Lake. Well, the core side is closed for camping, but the state side's open. Which I've got a call the Secretary of Wildlife and Parks when we're done here. And I'm gonna quiz him about that a little bit.
12:08, that's why we're on now, we're back in session. Wait for Wade to get back, he had to run back to his office.
Yeah. See what Casey's doing. He's doing for a slice of pizza or something out of their hot deal, they're giving it and putting it in price of that. At Casey's,
Don't save yourself anymore.
it's no
There's
self-service.
donuts either.
Yeah. We've done away with the self-service thing. Jump Start's kind of done the same thing, you know, their little deli area where they've always had to get it for you, type of, you know, some other stuff out.
Casey does not include your coffee stuff if you want, so.
Did you write this resolution, 852?
Yeah.
I mean, we could put Bob Sresick on there, should I just sign it, Wade sign it, Robert L?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry,
I've never seen.
I missed that.
That's right. Not a problem. Want to make sure that it's okay to, or I could sign it the other way. Not a problem. Prefer to go by.
That's as long as you're 6 feet apart. You don't want to get outside, put their feet straight.
But my private life is Bob, so.
That's why we're waiting for Bob, or Wade to return. Handy dandy budget books, CP5 books. I don't know how, haven't looked through it yet, see how many are actually in there so far. Guess I can get part of our homework. We just had to, with the way things are evolving almost hourly. I don't know whether we need to schedule a meeting or be prepared for the possibility of having to call a special meeting later in the week. Or do we want to schedule a meeting for this later in the week?
Probably 8 or 10 categories that aren't filled in here yet. So we can evaluate what's there, but if we take them home and they're not going to bring it up to date and come back with it.
Can't all this stuff be retroactive if we don't get to it until a month from now or whatever it be? I mean, it's,
You want to postpone it?
well, my thinking is we have a lot more important things right now that we probably should be considering on this, where people are still getting paid, and we can retro this back to wherever it needs to be if we do it. And they're not all there yet anyway, so why start scattering through it?
And what's the latest timeframe you need to put it into effect for April 3rd?
We usually like to have it no later than the second week of April to get in all the changes in our.
There's still 3 weeks off, so between now and then, there might be a good time we can do it. Like I said, we don't have them all yet anyway, so. And it really doesn't take too long to do this process for the most part.
So the one thing I would ask them is, could, with what we have in here, could Donna go ahead and start preparing the resolution? And then if we make any changes, we can make note of those changes and go back and correct the resolution just to get it started.
I think that'd be fair. I mean, it'd be, yeah.
And that way.
Because a lot of them will not change.
Right, but then that way when it's done and any minor changes, it doesn't take her a couple days to get the resolution ready.
That workable?
That work for you, Don?
So if they finalize it on the 13th, that's going to be 2 weeks.
And then we'll have her do it too. So yeah. I'm just thinking I work with you to speed up the process.
I think so.
So it's late closed now, Randy?
We're working on it. No, we haven't closed it yet. We already had boats on the water. We're gonna let them stay until they're done, because one way or another, we gotta handle them coming out. So we're just not allowing any more boats to go on. But we already had, how many did you say?
About a dozen I left.
About a dozen boats already on.
So those people are really abiding by stay at home.
The mow line comes from
Maintain 6 feet apart on the water.
The Kansas City metro
Well,
area.
if not in the boat, maybe.
Yeah, one.
Not if you're only one in.
I just want to say, guys, thank you for what you're doing. You're handling a lot on your plates, I know. If at any time you have any questions about what we're doing on the correction side or communications or patrol, feel free to stop by or call me. More than glad to keep you guys completely informed on, because we are taking additional protective measures just due to being essential personnel and not being able to afford to lose one single employee. Trying to do the best we can with what we got. But we really got some dang good employees.
We're just trying to kill time, aren't we?
We're waiting for Wayne to get back.
And I said dang instead of don't, other words.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
There's a kind of newspaper, this malaria field they're giving out for the virus. Did we take them back?
Yes, I did.
I remember taking a
Because I had a touch on
crap,
it.
I never had malaria. I
Yeah.
remember taking pills.
Yeah, we gave them all, we had them.
Because that was in 66.
And I had me at the bill out of there. We had, I think we took them.
I seem like the first thing. Which was 43 and 45, but I didn't care about nothing, but. Right?
No, 43 kids. If you can survive that. Yeah. So, yeah.
That makes you either strong or die.
Because I've exhausted my members, they're promising. But anytime we make shit,
I know.
I need it, I'm desperately, yeah, we're holding on to our little truck, but we're desperately running low.
That's the way it came out. If I move it here, I gotta move it
They're
back.
handling people's driver's licenses. We're going through it, I'm trying to get them to be a little more conscientious about, not just.
Yeah.
It
Well,
doesn't
thank
take,
you.
it just takes a small amount, but.
What are you, all right?
Don't waste it.
Well, I started.
Just so you know, we maybe get about 2 weeks
Before I had their big red so I got the TDY to a brand new unit, which was AMMCACCP, which was aircraft control point, air mobile, something else.
Who's putting their first
You
down?
think, Bradley?
No. No.
Now, the council, how many people are actually watching? We have
Close down law.
15 at one time, 16.
Probably a lot.
Count how many people are actually watching live.
Oh,
Just, give me an idea, 6.
I heard some.
Extra, what it
things
is,
about the
25 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
They say, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Massachusetts and Michigan governors issue stay-at-home orders.
I was young and stupid. Not really.
One advantage
I- that was a real-
We have an advantage. Being in a rural area, we definitely have the advantage over
I
the
remember
urban populated areas.
I flew in the door of a huge.
I got plenty of stuff to do at home.
I mean, you know, you think about it,
I know.
there's plenty of stuff that you can do that doesn't require interacting with other people.
Then the next thing you know.
I'm raising a garden,
In
maybe.
the air,
That'll help
the other
occupy
guy
people's
is
time,
down
you
the
know?
street.
When you gotta try out, good enough.
I know. My wife asked me when I was gonna get my garden spot filled up, and I said, well,
Okay.
when it dries out enough, but with all the rain we've got, it's just a muddy mess. Have you got anything planted at all? Me neither.
But you
Are you still planting that,
just wet as hell.
that corn you told me about one time? It's like a,
Wasn't
wasn't it like a
Well, it's-
Roundup or?
Yeah, the sweet corn, I plant all around sweet corn.
Half of them.
And how do you got, do you just buy
Yeah, but we're gone.
smaller bags of that?
Some of them have gold.
Yeah, I buy mine all, it's still, I buy 10,000 kernels. But
Well, they let you-
I think they'll stay you less, or you, I know last year I lost my first planting,
Last
so
flight.
they ordered another 3,000 or 4,000 kernels for me, and they ordered it, and it came in that size bag. I'm not sure where Todd got that from.
Just because you're experienced at that, 10,000 kernels, how big an acre?
Half acre.
A half acre,
Hydraulic.
really?
20,000 square
That
feet.
week.
And that's planting it, how far apart do you plant it?
7
Just on the
inches.
ground.
7 acres. Because I'm thinking of not quite a half acre,
Wow.
probably just a quarter of an acre, which isn't much, but I just growing
We
through.
might have been okay if we had.
So maybe still it'd take maybe 5,000,
Take 5,000, about $140 worth.
Really? but it's good sweet corn.
It's good sweet corn. I plant the Passion 2, and it's equivalent to Incredible and Jubilee. And those are two of the best sweet corns there are.
Now, what kind of planter do you have? Do you have one of
I've got an
them?
old 4-row, well, I've got one of them too. I got an old John Deere 4-row planter that's 36-inch rows,
That's the first time I've done.
you know, about as old as I am, but it still works.
But is that the 36 inches in between the row? In between?
Yeah.
That allows for growth and moisture.
Well, yeah, but the farmers are planting with 30-inch rows.
Okay.
But this old planter's, it's old,
I got a hand planter.
I got one of them too.
That's all I got. It works.
That was, you know, once we got into.
Yeah, I got one of them. That's what I
Okay,
plant most of my stuff with, unless
See, we got Japan, we don't have that for lane voting.
What all do you grow?
And we've got
About
Japan.
a little bit of everything.
Do you really?
I gotta start quit one of these days.
Now, when are you gonna put your potatoes in?
I won't plant. You know, when you can go to the grocery store and buy 10 pounds of potatoes for $1.99.
Right.
Other than that, it's nice to have a few new ones for new, fresh,
Okay,
fried tomatoes.
question, because it's been years since I planted potatoes. I used to buy seed potatoes. My wife's got a couple of bags of potatoes that have gone bad at home, but they got eyes everywhere. They're the red potatoes. Is there a chance in heck that they're gonna grow?
Are those eyes, are the eyes themselves growing or? they-
Yeah, they're getting longer and longer. They keep growing.
Well, you don't want them that long because you're gonna cover it up.
Right.
You don't want that eye to be over a quarter inch long.
Can you cut those eyes down?
Just cut them, have 2 eyes per plant.
I'm
When
gonna
you cut
try
that
it.
potato too, just make sure you got 2 eyes in each.
Cause I used to, like, when I got seed potatoes, I'd quarter them, you know, and kind of do it based on the eyes, just a couple of eyes in each.
2 eyes in each piece.
And then I would get them started, you know, and then I put them under, but it's been years since I've done that, and I couldn't remember, because my wife's got this bag of potatoes that's growing eyes and stuff, she's like, why don't you plant these?
I would suggest you go to Hoover's or Greenhouse, buy you 5 or 10 pounds.
Of the seed.
Do the rotate,
potatoes.
I'll probably end up planting 5 pounds, but I don't plant many.
The first year I ever, this was when we lived out at Urban Jody's little rental house, we had a garden out there, first time I'd ever grown one. And I didn't know how many seed potatoes would go how far, and I bought a 50-pound. I planted a garden, we had potatoes forever.
50 pounds, plant an area as big as this.
Yes, I had a big area of nothing but potatoes. We ended up giving them, of course, to family and everything. And then I took and I made racks, you know, with like chicken wire.
Yeah.
And then I used burlap bags and covered them. And they stayed for a long time.
I give 95% of my garden stuff away.
We did too. I did too when I grew a garden. Like okra, my gosh, that stuff will go crazy.
Okra, tomatoes, cucumbers, I mean. I got some senior citizens that I give about everything away.
You know, that's what we should do, is share. I mean, and you obviously have a passion for gardening and stuff, but some people don't. But
I figured it out.
I think it's rewarding to see stuff grow. And it just tastes so much better than store bought.
There's a lot of work in it.
Yes, there is. I'm hoping that we can get these community gardening started for the jail up here, and then get it away, like at the senior citizen centers or God's Storehouse or something like that.
Probably we went down there river.
Because I think they should get it back. And it gives them something to do.
How big of an area have you got that you're gonna be
We
doing?
don't have a very big area, but what we did is we made cubicles out of 2 by 12. We made like 10 by 10 cubicles that we're gonna put as raised garden beds. I've got a bunch of topsoil out of my house. I bet I got 3 dump truck loads of topsoil. I'm just gonna dig a bunch of it up, and I got an old trailer that I'm gonna put it in and haul it in and drive it out.
A lot of them, when you,
Josh Lord's gonna use his tractor to load it.
I've been pointing to, I think it's the 3rd of May.
your 2 by 12 deals, I'd probably suggest, only make them 4 foot wide. That way you can reach in from each side and probably plant a middle row and 2 rows. You make them 10 by 10, you're gonna be crawling out in the middle, tromping and good soil down. Most of your places,
Yeah.
Well, there's south side of Linden,
I
they've got that
that.
community garden there. And most of those are, 4 foot wide maybe. There might be 100 foot long.
Okay, but they're just, and that way they're just planting like
That way
one
you can
row.
reach in from the outside. Well, they plant 2 rows or 3.
I didn't even think about it.
I go make.
I'd probably do that versus going 10 by 10. 10 by 10, you're gonna be out in the middle of trough.
But now-
What we can do is cut them down, and we've already, but we can cut them in the middle and then just use another 2 by 12 to make them into smaller. They probably, I think that would be more easier to put them out here.
Smaller than narrow, the length of it's immaterial.
Yeah.
reason I called Topeka for some reason.
Is 12 inches deep enough? Is 12 inches deep enough
If
for
you got
most roots?
If you got good soil. That's deeper than
I have
most
not
good
met
garden
that.
soil.
Right.
Our topsoil limit about 8 inches.
When I till my garden, when I did a garden, I didn't usually go down as far as really maintaining it about 6 inches.
There's no reason to go any deeper than about 6 or 7 inches.
I always enjoyed growing a garden, I just haven't had time. Because
Takes a lot of time, takes a lot of work.
if you don't stay on top of it, weeding it, it'll take over a garden in a heartbeat.
Phone calls and trying to.
I mulch lots of it, you know,
Now, how do you mulch it?
just, wheat straw.
We're still handling today, but tomorrow we're going to the.
I mulch all the
program, and
tomatoes
I
and
will be
cucumbers
your
and
contact
cabbages.
from then on.
I used to do that with my
She was gonna set
tomatoes.
me up.
Yeah, tomatoes. I got cages.
As of right now,
I try to keep the moisture in the ground and keep
Well,
weeds
that's
from growing.
mulching does two things, eliminates
Try to get
weed
it out of
and
the
grass
program.
growth,
Veterans
conserve
Choice.
Now, I read a deal one time and I never tried it. Have you heard of
It's supposed to
anybody?
be a lot better.
I seen a deal that they
Get all this.
talked about taking shredded paper
Congressman.
and when you plant tomato plants and loosen the roots up, around the roots underground, put shredded paper. The only thing I can think of is it lets water get in there and then the paper holds the water. But that's gotta disintegrate eventually.
as long as they don't mildew and cause a problem with fungus disease. That'd be the question I'd have with,
Yeah.
What team you on?
I just seen that on the internet one time. I never tried it.
I'm not gonna say it wouldn't work.
Huh? If it's on the internet, it has to be true. I always just good topsoil, kept it loosened up when I planted and then put straw on top around my tomato plants. And then use those cages around them. I did wire cages about yay big.
That's all
If
I
I ever need them.
Good farm, garden, fresh tomato, it can't be, especially in little cherry tomatoes. I can eat them things all day long.
Those shoes are free, the socks are free, and everything else to do. Because I don't have
Green
one
beans.
my back. Had 2 surgeries I needed to get.
Dude, best time to plant green beans
I
is
had
in
no
July.
feeling.
Really?
And up on my feet.
And when they're maturing in late September, early October, and that, when they're maturing in those cool nights, cool days. The fall garden is probably more productive than the spring garden is.
I have heard that.
He's right up north, I was in the fall.
Oh,
Last year, when we cleaned up our jalapenos, we had quite a few plants out. We cleaned up our jalapenos. We knew we had quite a few.
And what we're gonna.
Picked 40 gallon jalapenos right before the last fall. I had a little trouble getting rid of 40 gallon.
Do you make relish?
Yeah, you make relish or
Salsa?
you can salsa or you can pickle them. So I give about all of them away. I still got 3 or 4 gallons in the freezer because they freeze good.
Now, do you vacuum seal them or just freeze them in plastic?
Put them in a gallon bag. Get a few of them out and then stuff them with cheese and
Isn't that good?
hot sausage.
Well, I tell you what, I do, I buy that Hoover sausage. Have you ever bought that they make at Hoover?
We buy the Jimmy Dean hot sausage.
I don't do hot.
It's not that hot when you get cheese mixed.
Okay, because then I mix it with cheese. Sometimes I do it with cream cheese and shredded cheese, and then I cut the jalapeno lengthways in half and fill them like a boat, and then wrap a piece of bacon around it.
That's how we do it. But don't take the seeds out of don't take the seeds out of jalapeno. Leave them.
I like it, though.
They're warmed up. But they're not that bad.
But I tell you what, with Arnold's right there, they have such a variety of different types of jalapenos, from the most mildest jalapenos to the, whatever you call them, habaneros or whatever they are.
There's lots of different varieties of jalapenos.
We're very lucky to have an Arnold's greenhouse that has a variety that they have.
I don't know how that's gonna affect his business.
They have a sign up that says open, but I haven't stopped in there to see how they're gonna do it.
They've only got 8 cars there every day, but normally this time of year they got 15 cars.
Is Jeff still helping them?
He does all the garden stuff with cities.
Oh, he's not doing anything
He
else?
hasn't been out to the Arnold's greenhouse for 3 or 4 years.
Really?
Maybe 5. He's responsible for all those flower beds and
He does that.
foliage.
Are they doing anything on the school flower beds this year with school out?
not like they used to.
That's pretty, you do that.
They've kind of cut that down a little bit. The hours that Jeff's been in on that is unreal.
It'd be neat if the kids would take responsibility and do it.
There's a few kids that do it, but they do it for a day or two, then they lose interest because it's a lot of work.
Because it sure is pretty when you drive by.
And they have reduced the size of it some. Oh, wait a minute, we got tied up.
Yeah, I texted him. He didn't forget. It's a Monday.
I told Wade if we're gonna put a GPS locator chip in him. So we can track him when we need him. Oh. Ah, Lord.
Life 360 app. Try his cell phone.
Because he doesn't go anywhere without a cell phone. Oh. Oh, Lord. Oh. Angie got me the list of Lake employees. The youngest is 65. Looks like the average is in the 70s. Good old Don back here. You want me to tell your age? You ought to be proud of it.
He's probably 80.
75.
Don't hurt me, do that.
I'll tell you his age.
Last time I seen him,
He's
was
around the same age as you, isn't
Oh,
he?
no, he's a lot older than I am.
Don't put a watch.
Well, I knew you both were Vietnam
But the
vets.
only reason I know is he just told me when he went to Vietnam, and I could judge the difference between his and mine.
Now, I tell you the one that's bright, well, I shouldn't say his age, but West Byfield.
Yeah, but he's a lot older than that.
Yeah, and then I got one Lyle Combs, 81. I wouldn't have known it. Well, West Byfield, he still mows yards and,
That's how come he's still
that's right.
young. 'cause he's
Work,
still-
I think, doesn't he still have a couple head of cows and stuff he takes and raises, I think,
He's still got a horse out there.
yeah. That's,
what's the age of Roger Gilbert?
65, he's the youngest.
65?
No. Do we really want to be discussing that?
Yeah.
I think of it.
Them guys they're in good shape. I hope I'm that good when I get their age. I wouldn't have thought you were your age.
So am I gonna look like Don when I'm his age?
I know it.
Hey, you're behind already, man.
There's only one shortcoming. So what do you attribute all your hair to?
My mother.
Your mother's
being
genetics? See, I contribute mine to my dad's. He's 83 and he has a full head of hair like that. But he by far is not in as good a health as you are.
Latest numbers.
That came out.
So is Washington DC pretty well shut down as far as all the national monuments and all that stuff, or have they closed all those?
Well, I know this morning the Surgeon General was on TV and and he actually brought up Washington DC and how disappointed he was that they have a stay-at-home order, is what I thought I heard him say. But that they are running a live stream on the cherry blossoms in Washington. Apparently that's a big deal. And there was more people out walking around looking at that than what was watching it on the live stream.
Jeff,
That's Washington.
Jeff seen a picture of that yesterday at the cherry blossoms. And people were sick enough you couldn't even walk the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a normal day.
Yeah, that or a plus.
Yeah,
So
that's an exciting time.
yeah, and that society's not listening.
I think as long as we do,
Do what?
as long as we do what we can here.
All we can control is what we can control within our part of the world.
Hopefully, try to stay ahead of the curve.
I know at times people, I've heard, because we've had some really good candid discussions within the sheriff's office on what actions to take or not take. And it's interesting, the different perspectives based on age. The young generation has a perspective, and the older generation, we have a perspective, and they're from two different spectrums. You know what I mean? That's crazy. But it's where do you find that balance that's going to work? And I think that's what people have got to recognize, that we've got to do what we can do.
So what's the young generation? I haven't been out and about to know what the young generation.
The younger generation that I've been talking to is, well, it's just a bad case of the flu. I mean, you're going to survive it. They're not worried about grandma, Bessie or something. They're more focused about their needs or how they're impacted. Whereas to me, the older generation, we're kind of have experienced life a little more, that we are that at-risk group, more. And so I try to do the social distancing and the hand sanitizing and all that, but the younger generation is more about, we need to stay on task. We need to keep living our lives, going about our business.
But yet they're carrying it and transferring it.
Exactly.
And they could transfer that to the grandparents.
Yeah. Did you see the
Or the
spring
parents.
breakers?
Pardon?
The spring breakers in Florida?
That was unreal.
It just blew my mind.
Of course, those news people probably searched a lot of beaches to find a
True.
beach that had that many people.
True.
Because the news people are good about that.
That's the news really. put in
Sorry about that, Mark.
positive.
It's my stuff.
Well, I mean, I know that because what you're saying is, when on one news account I was watching, they were in Clearwater, Florida, which was a big one. But the reporter did say that a number of other beaches had already closed down. But that's why they were all congregating at this one, because this one hadn't closed down yet. And they're still going to operate through Friday or Saturday, I don't remember. And they were just as much elbow to elbow, and probably from all aspects of the country. They're going to bring it back within their communities to their grandparents and maybe a cousin that has a medical condition or whatever. But Johnson County, I know I talked to some people who have family there, and they say what they've been told is, yeah, they put a stay-at-home order in place, but they don't care if you leave Johnson County and go visit family elsewhere in the state.
Or come to the lake and go fishing.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying leave the community if you want to. We don't care. All we care about is Johnson County and stay-at-home order in our community. I would think they would be wanting to discourage travel.
Mm-hmm.
Stay at home means stay at home, people. I think, I don't know, but who am I?
These two people in Lyon County, if they put anything out on them at all yet?
I haven't. I was trying to look to see what part of Lyon County they're from, whether they're from.
They haven't disclosed.
But they're not disclosing where in Lyon County. I know the one in Morris County was Council Grove itself,
Yes, yeah.
but those people had gone all over Hal's half acre. They had traveled, I think, on a cruise ship and came back is how it started. Of course, you don't know what's real and what's not real, you just what you read. But I checked KVOE before I came back in and they hadn't updated anything yet. Well, like, what was it, Friday night? I think it was, the deputy stopped a vehicle up at Vito because they ran the stop sign coming down the off-ramp on I-35 right in front of him. I mean, you gotta address it. They were from New York. So you sanitize and take your precautions that you can, but you still gotta deal with them. That and transients. I mean, this is the time of year when we see our transient population pick up and down 75 highway. A lot of them have stayed like at the shelters for the winter, like in Topeka and Lawrence, places like that where they've got their shelters, you know. And then this time of year, after it starts to warm up, they start to migrate out.
Yeah, for example, like in Topeka's rescue mission, I wonder how they're handling that.
I don't know. I know some communities, and I don't know that Topeka has, some communities are finding additional facilities that aren't being used, like warehouses, that sort of thing, and trying to distance the beds and stuff apart from each other more to get the 6-foot thing and trying to create a little social distancing that way. That's what I've read anyway.
Maybe they've let some of them under bridges again.
They've actually tried to bring them in, I think, from their tent cities and all that to where they can at least clean them up and hygiene and at least they know where they're at type deal.
Topeka just did away with that one tent center up there and put $100,000 into moving them in.
Yeah. And because they were on the railroad right away, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure, Randy.
I think I read somewhere it was BNSF or something right away, and I didn't know they spent $100,000.
$100,000 was contributed to that project.
Was that donations or the city?
I'd understood it was a contribution from
Wow.
somebody.
I wouldn't be surprised the railroad would do it to get them off their property. That does amaze me whenever I go to a big city. You know, I mean, like I've traveled like through Chicago and different places under those overpasses and different areas in the city, the transient towns within themselves that have popped up. And it's like its own little community, you know, and
Sad part is, probably a larger percentage of those are veterans too.
yeah. Like we had a transient come through Saturday when I was on the way home Saturday night, and Osage County he'd come out of Topeka, so Osage County had given him a ride down to Vito, and then he was walking, which is common. We do that. We try to get him to the next county, and we tell the next county, you know, and we all try to help each other if somebody's trying to get somewhere if we can. And this guy was a veteran. He'd been up at the VA in Topeka and was headed home to Tulsa, which is common. We see that a lot. I don't know why. I can't explain why they go to Topeka VA from like Tulsa, but they do a lot. I don't know if maybe there's some service that's provided at Topeka that Tulsa doesn't have. Sometimes that happens. You know, I know sometimes you can't get certain services in Topeka, but you can get them in Leavenworth. So maybe it's something, but anyway, we gave him a ride. You know, we checked him on the COVID-19 checklist and stuff. And then when the deputy transported him down to Woodson County to the rest area, so that way if Woodson County couldn't give him a ride, he at least had shelter for the night. And then we disinfected the car. We used, you know, we got cleaning solution that we that we made up, that they've recommended. I can't remember the name of it, something 125. Virex 125 or something like that. The schools use it. And we just disinfect, like where the area where he was at, and you disinfect it and you leave it on wet and you just let it dry. And it kills like 99.99% of all germs, bacteria, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Virex 125, you can buy it at Napa. I think it's like 1 ounce to a gallon or something like that.
When I first started, I was told it was only like list of 6 or 7 things that can kill it. List is like that pages long.
Yeah.
Did that, there's a news day that people, have already prosecuted some people for that, had non.
Yeah, and you've had people, that bought the bulk toilet paper and then turn around trying to sell it for massive amounts.
Wade, I don't see anything about weed department on here, noxious weed. I see landfill and I see recycling.
So I was trying to cover all the separate buildings. That can easily be added to it.
Okay.
Like restricted access to Coffee County properties, all Coffee County properties. Are covered, not just weed, unless they want something.
Yeah, I mean, I think even with recycling, basically, probably covered it, just that it wasn't mentioned specifically. There will always be somebody who'll question it.
Yeah.
And that's the only change, that's an easy addition to that section. It just took a little while to try to cover all the outside buildings. And I understood the east door is the door you were talking about having accessible.
The,
Street side.
I mean, it's the street side, that's,
I think we have to maintain our ADA compliance, and I think that, unless there's something I don't know about, that maintains that compliance.
Would it be possible to have someone just sit in the middle of the lobby and leave the two doors open if people needed to come in? No?
you're allowing them in. I mean, so
This,
the other issue may be too, employees,
I say this covers the public, this doesn't cover the employees.
right, give employees, and I wonder if it may not be, at least if you had two people down there and did the east and west entrance,
You want to look at this?
or if you had a person, if the one person went back and forth, I mean, you could maintain
They just
visibility
have
of
to
those
check in
doors.
at that table.
Yeah,
Yeah, yes. I concur with that.
yeah, but the door's not gonna be open where you can come in and get to the table.
Right.
That's what I said. Where we say east door,
So you're not saying.
then the person is there to go back and forth. Prefer the east door.
So what's the requested modification?
I don't think we would have to change it.
You're saying the
This would be an
person,
operational.
the person
Say
at
we
each,
suggest-
each door
suggest
could
the
open
east
the west door for an employee to come in, is that what you're saying?
And they'd be there on both doors.
And we will lock the basement door,
Basement door will be locked for,
because it still can be open to go out in an emergency, it can still be open from the inside.
the far door, emergency exit only.
And that's one of the active shooter recommendations anyway. is to
Right.
lock that door.
So it'll be practice to see how that works.
Russell's taking a look at it too, just in case he sees issues.
And maybe you've already talked about this, does it make any difference for the departments that already closed before? Like recycling and noxious weed closed it before, don't they? So did they close at 3? Just putting that out there. I don't know.
No,
I put 4 o'clock since that was the order last week to clean offices, so.
So I'm just throwing that out there for discussion. Do they do an hour earlier? I don't know.
I think when we discussed that last week, we said, no, they closed at 4, they closed at 4. I mean, the whole key was,
So on number 1C, I know when I went around and talked to the department heads, whatever day that was, Thursday or Friday, Karen expressed concern that her stuff shouldn't be mixed with other stuff. So like, she needed her own box, or it had to be her people to go get the stuff. And then they
Except
distribute,
secured envelope.
and then they distribute to everybody else. Pardon?
It's being a secured envelope.
I'm just telling you what she told me.
Well,
She was concerned about anybody else having access to that box with her employees, if her stuff was getting put in. That's a big concern she had.
put 5 different cardboard boxes down there. And each department can go and get their own.
Well, I think what she's talking about, correct me if I'm wrong, is the boxes like yours to be mounted
Yeah,
on the curb, that's gonna be locked, that people drop stuff in.
it's a metal box like the city of Burlington
Right, but we're
has.
not gonna have it in place by
Right.
tomorrow morning, so in lieu of that, it can be inside the lobby. If someone needs to drop something off, they can drop it off with the screener at the door and be placed into a box for the department to come get.
And that can be taken out.
And that can change, I mean, that's an operational thing that,
It's probably gonna be fluid.
Yeah.
For the time being. It can easily be taken out if it's an issue.
I didn't see where we were sending recycle pickup.
So
Residential.
I can put that in there, this is just an operation
Okay.
outline,
That's,
but it can be put in there.
I mean, we never really discussed it either a whole lot.
If you're wanting something in that resolution that says residential recycle pickup is suspended under this resolution, then that's fine, but
I just knew it was brought up and I didn't see it here, so I just thought I'd bring it back
and
up.
I started to put it in there, and then I thought, well, that might be, I don't know what the decision is, so.
I see Todd's.
So just if I read it right, the adjustments to go over the lock
Yes.
without an intended, there won't be like an intended to let people.
No, there will.
Oh, there will be an
There's
intended.
gonna be, my understanding is there'll be someone.
Mike's
Someone
gonna
manning
figure
the
that
door.
out, right? Mike will figure that out.
Because that was the concern Lindsay had with locking the doors, other than just her recommendation, was she could take it as necessary, but her departmental operational concern was that they're visiting up the way it is, they don't have time to walk down the door unless somebody in.
They won't have to.
So,
That was taken into consideration. You're okay with the effective March 23rd at 4 PM, which is today, so people who come to the courthouse today. So do you want me to go add noxious weed? It'll take me,
you mean the curbside recycling, or the residential recycling, is that what you meant?
well, both.
They weren't explicitly singled out like the landfill or recycle center.
So what's covered, Coffee County Courthouse, Road and Bridge, and then landfill, recycle, and noxious weed, everything else like that. I think kind of speaks for itself. The sheriff controls what's going on with
That's
this.
restricted access to county properties, kind of take in noxious weed.
That's, it doesn't cover.
I mean, it does, but someone can say, well, it's not explicitly identified, so that's why I was trying to identify.
There'll be people out there who'll try to find things wrong with this so they can make an issue out of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So we'll have to be able to adjust maybe down the road a little bit. You'll never come up with an exact perfect deal.
And then I guess, were you giving Todd the direction, just figure out on his own whether to not do residential, or what you guys?
That's not part of this.
That's not part of
That's
this.
another
That's
issue.
another item for discussion.
I would say restricted access to all Coffee County property. The word all be included up there, and then if you want to put noxious weed in it, that's fine too. And if there's any others that we miss, the word all should cover them all. If we've got pretty good attorneys to make this, it can make clear.
So you want me to go fix that?
Yeah.
All right, and I can add noxious weed while I'm at it?
Yeah.
All right. So give me just a few minutes and you're good to go.
You know, one thing I was thinking, we got, that we had ordered for some other
It already
buildings,
says all.
these metal drop boxes.
Coffee County property.
Yeah, like 10 of them.
I know about it.
I'm thinking if we
Big
put each
access,
department's
it makes
name on
that.
one, and then put
So
gas
we'll
there
see.
in the lobby.
That wouldn't hurt you to say
It's got documents to drop off.
They're
Why
checking
can't
somebody
we
who
put it
would
like in a manila envelope,
this whole thing.
write the department on it, put it in their drop
That's what it
box?
says.
Does it?
Well, not, same difference, being a secured envelope next to the Dropbox.
Okay, 'cause we've got like 10 of those drop boxes that we'd ordered for another deal that we haven't implemented, that we'll, you know, put,
Used for a while.
they can be used for a while.
Yeah, I mean, if they're here, that.
We got them.
Yeah.
And I have ballot boxes that we
Yeah.
can use for each, each office can have a ballot box. I don't have enough for all offices. but
Excuse me.
Envelopes.
Did you,
They can stick.
should I take that one?
Large envelopes,
No, I didn't.
stick them each
Okay,
in.
that's fine. No, that's fine.
I'm busy looking for,
Oh,
something
That's right, stick them in envelopes.
and then I would work for HGDS. No, we did not order that from Collinsville? I've never heard of it.
Later.
Of the Pyrex 125?
No, the Pyrex they do, but the HGDS they don't.
They don't, where'd we get that?
I have no idea.
I suppose you're gonna need some.
Skelly's gonna make some phone calls to Ed.
It may have came from,
I've got
what's the name of that chemical
I'll write
company
some more today.
that does like the fire department?
Chemtress.
No, they've got like a beaker, red beaker, chemical, something chemical company. You know what I'm talking about? He used to come around all the time.
Yeah.
He lived up by Vassar or somewhere. He used to do the fire departments, all the county buildings. That may have been where that came from. You have good ears. Yeah, we were these, they're drop boxes. We use some of them like our bin inspections and stuff like that. They're just these metal drop boxes that have a slot on them that you can drop stuff in and you lock them with a key.
You got a minute? I was gonna say,
If there's a will, there's a way.
right, and again, just to make it work starting out, it's gonna evolve as time goes on, but door comes up, hey, I'm here to drop off. Yes, for this department, here's my envelope.
Yep.
Okay, I'll put it in the treasurer's box.
Yep. Something simple.
That's what it takes to
That's right.
help things work.
Whatever it takes to accomplish the mission.
You read mine. No.
Small changes, but basically just add.
I have no doubt at the end of the day, this community is gonna be okay. People are, not everybody is practicing the recommendations, but a good percentage are. Young people are the hardest ones.
Okay, sounds good.
Trying to keep them from wanting to go play basketball on the basketball court and, play on. They're just a bundle of energy.
What's the rec center up here doing?
They're closed.
They are closed.
That was by order of the governor.
Yeah,
Probably a good show, good.
the governor actually included that, that all recreational centers, facilities, be closed, the YMCA's, the YWCA's, and boys and girls clubs. And
Hey, I'd just like to say the clean ladies have done a marvelous job keeping this building clean.
They
They
have,
busted their rear and been doing really, really good. So they deserve kudos whenever anybody sees them.
Charlene was a little, at first, she come and talked to me Friday night or Saturday night, because we just had them not having to clean our area. I said, you guys have got so much to do. We can take our own trash out.
Yeah.
We're more than glad to take our own trash out because you guys have got a lot on your plate. And so once her and I talked for a little bit, she understood that it wasn't.
Right.
It's just, priorities.
Well, and I wonder if it might be safer for the janitors too, to just have everyone put their trash outside their door
That's what
for the
we're
time
doing.
being, even in the courthouse.
And yeah.
And then that way, they're not interacting with each and every single employee and exposing themselves either, so.
We're just having the guys at the end. Now, I was gonna talk to you about that. Originally, we just told Charlene not to worry about the annex. I wonder if, like, every third or fourth day, she would just kind of check it, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Because guys have a tendency to be slobs, honestly. And, we're saying deputies aren't to come to the courthouse unless they're summoned, they're needed. As far as the sheriff's office, that their home is down at the annex.
Right.
So they're gonna be using it a lot more. We didn't plan on that. So that was something Zach brought up last night in our supervisor's meeting, was could we ask the janitorial staff if they have time
Right, so
to
they're,
maybe pop in every day or so?
Maybe they could learn how to be janitorial down there.
And they could.
There's still a little bit to clean up.
I asked Charlene how she was doing, and she needed us to help her.
The normal scale.
You know Charlene, she always got a smile on her face and happy just to be here. I love her. She's a phenomenal lady.
Okay.
But, so, if you,
And then you said you're adding up your
yeah,
Just
I still just have to do.
if she has time, every third or fourth day, just come and.
Other than that,
The guys are taking their own trash out.
Well, and that's what I was
It is.
thinking here, since we were closing it
We'll
for
probably change it
public
again.
and cleaning our offices, we've got time that each office could collect their trash, set it outside the door, and that way they can just come through and take it out.
That's what we're doing. Our jailers take their own trash out anyway from the jail anyway, the inmates' meals and all that. That we're just collecting our trash and throwing it into there and having our jailers take it out. And then Charlene's just doing some basic, the bathroom.
You make any other recommendations?
It would be Dr. Shelby, yes.
General facilities, but now we're doing that. That's gonna hopefully get better.
And it's just temporary until this passes.
She's not gonna stand, so.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She just hurt.
Oh.
And I felt so bad, but then her and I sat and talked for an hour, and I explained to her that, you know, we don't know what, I don't want unnecessarily to expose her to something,
Right.
with somebody coming in our lobby that we don't know. And plus the fact that I know there's a lot of demand in general public areas.
Right.
And that really ought to be the focus, if we can help in the non-public areas and save them some time, that's what we want to do, to try to help.
I was out, was it last Wednesday or last Thursday, when it was that real beautiful day. I was outside enjoying, I stayed home, but I was outside enjoying it, and I thought, man, it is a beautiful day. And then I thought, such a beautiful day, and everything is, in this world is in the situation that we're in right now. It's just hard to imagine, you know,
Yeah.
how it is.
So, since I don't have any experience with it, have we had to call a special meeting of the commission?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And typically, either chairman can call for a meeting for three
Three committees.
members?
Yep.
Okay. So then,
You're a member, you and two others can do it. That's three, if it needs to be,
or the chairman can
or the
call.
chairman can call. Isn't that right?
Now, what are you saying? You're
Is it
saying?
chairman or three commissioners? The chairman could call, is that correct?
The chairman can call.
Or three commissioners could call.
Oh, yeah, right.
But the
Yeah.
chairman is not considered one of those three commissioners. Because he
No.
called on his own.
Right. But you have to have,
Three
You
commissioners.
still have to have three to have a meeting.
To have a meeting.
How can three call it when you can't talk to three?
but you gotta have a point of contact to, you know, make that call.
Because we can't talk to the
But I don't know
third
how you,
person.
no, that'd be a Wade question, how you.
Yeah, you
do
better
that.
ask Wade on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I'm getting at is if something goes wrong.
I mean, we've got confidence in Cody
And I
to do
get what
it.
needs to be done, we need our health officer or emergency management, if we need to take action on
But
something
we also,
before Monday. The process of calling that meeting is,
or we need to know if you're not available, how
Well,
to
you
call
would-
that meeting.
You would like contact me and then I would call you to the commissioner and say we're having a special meeting this date and time.
Make sure you got a quorum.
well,
Make sure you got a quorum.
But how would you do it when three commissioners would call a meeting? So
That's what you're gonna have to ask.
that's a Wade question, how that would.
I'm not too sure that could be done.
I know,
think that-
every time
I think it says that. That can be
I've seen
done.
one called in the past, it was the chairman that called for a special meeting to be held.
I think it can be done without the chairman.
Yeah.
I mean,
I said there has to be.
there's a way of doing it, I'm not sure how.
Because what if you were-
the procedure is,
On vacation,
Right.
out of the country.
Well, in this situation, he's not on
Yeah, well, in this situation, but what if?
but- Good observation, Tom.
No, I know in this situation, he's gonna be around, but what if at some point,
There's standard.
10 months from now,
There's quarantine.
you know, just 10 months from now, you need to call a special commission meeting because of a zoning issue or something.
Right.
How do you do that without violating the open meetings? That's one of them there waiting questions.
And then it gets to this question too, that if we get down to where we're self-quarantined,
Can you
can
do
we
it?
call a meeting by phone,
I don't know.
special meeting by phone?
Can you?
Yeah, there's an AG's opinion.
I know
on that.
we had-
There's information on that on.
I know.
We had a commissioner call in by phone one time, which I'd never heard of, but they started doing it when they were somewhere else for reasons, but
I
Luke
never,
has that information. He was informing me last week, so I'm sure that's probably what he'll talk to you about.
because I know they're talking about that in Congress, because there's some congressmen that have been quarantined.
Right. We don't want your opinion, wait, we'll give us.
Come on, ladies. But yeah, they were talking about those, there's some congressmen that have been quarantined, so can they still vote and vote remotely by telephone?
Well, the vote that came up the other day was 47. So look how many of the senators weren't in place.
Exactly.
They weren't allowed to call in or they would have.
Right, they said, McConnell said that currently,
Well, you got that.
Randy, we just had an EMS special meeting Friday, and it was all back on.
yeah.
I have no idea how it was called.
Well, I know Mitch McConnell said that currently Congress isn't set up to allow remote voting, that you have to be present to vote, but that they somehow he thinks they can suspend certain articles or something and allow for it, but it isn't in place currently.
So on this may just be Wayne or Jeff and the other Wayne, on the access to Coffee County landfill. This is for buildings.
This is just for the buildings, not for the.
It's not super clear there, but I mean, landfill is, you drive across the sales, you drive through when there's no different than anything else. That will remain open. If you need to go to actually enter the office there, this would apply.
Right.
Which is very
We
rare.
gotta get rid of that trash somehow, somewhere.
Yeah, that's.
And that's where it has, access limited to general contractors and haulers. Okay, 3. And my understanding is that's what you were, that has to go on.
I think the public still needs access to it. We're talking to the landfill to drive in and dump their own trash and not to interact with anyone other than the person in the scale house through a drive-through window.
So if you want to cross out closed and write in restricted. Or if we're saying it just refers to the buildings, then it's probably fine.
Right, that's what I mean, it says in the very top, doors.
Right.
And the gate's gonna be open, that's going up.
We got 3 dump-ins starting April 13th for a week. Does that need to be shut down?
We may need to talk about that next week. Sure.
You got citywide cleanup too, because the Assembly's picking up.
Right, and the cities may change that,
Probably need to discuss that a little. Thanks.
talk about that next week. Other than that, if we're clear on this, that this is doors, to the landfill, didn't see anything else, so. Question on, but any other discussion?
It looks like it's a good place to start. It may change by next week, or we gotta get more restrictive.
or by later this week.
I'm sorry, or by later.
This week.
Yeah.
So,
It can change, this can change very quickly.
I think there's a briefing at 4 o'clock today, is that?
right. Can you give a resolution number?
Yes, it'd be 853.
What? 853.
853.
We have a resolution to enforce concerning county operations and access to the Coffee County Courthouse and other county buildings during this public health emergency.
What, you making that?
No, I'm just saying we've got a resolution in front of us. Would somebody move to approve the resolution? This resolution is essentially
Also, Cody,
restricting access to all county buildings.
I'll second that.
Dawn has moved and Tom has seconded. Is there any further discussion?
No,
You want to read it out loud?
no. You might summarize what it
I was
says.
going to say, in summary, this resolution restricting access to the general public to county buildings during the COVID-19 public health emergency. The public will still be allowed access so long as they can complete a health screening as recommended by the Kansas Department of Health and Environment at the guidance and direction of the county health department. Has made an appointment with the correct department they wish to conduct business with. Effective Monday, March 23rd, 2020, 4 p.m., all doors to the properties owned and operated by Coffee County, Kansas will be locked to the general public, and access will be limited on a discretionary and restricted access basis. Is that a good summary? Dawn has moved and Tom has seconded to pass resolution 2020 R853. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Consent resolution will take effect at 4 p.m. today. And it will be enforced immediately upon adoption, and it shall remain in effect until further order.
Do you want to sign your copy and pass around?
Do we have any other business for today?
So this will potentially now affect the open meetings part of the Open Meetings Act for the next meeting. So we think about how to allow the public access. I know we have video equipment or audio equipment that we tested out last week, that there could be a number provided and people could call in and listen, or to allow the public to show up and still be a part of the meeting.
We're not the first to do this. I doubt we'll be the last. Other counties have probably had their meeting already while their courthouse was closed. So we can see how that looks and how they've done it. We do want to make sure that our meetings are still open. We still have permanent record and that it is always available to the public.
And I might add, this YouTube live has a live chat also. They could call in or
Okay.
remote in this or make comments this way.
If needed. Okay. Randy, did you still have something else?
So, Road and Bridge, and if I understand, you're saying Road and Bridge, Knox Sweet, and all them, they're gonna do their own security measures. I don't have to post a guard out there. I just gotta worry about a screener here at the courthouse, right? And we'll get a log generated and everybody use the same log. Is that what you want? Or let each.
For the resolution, the department heads are responsible.
Okay, I didn't know if I needed to develop that and distribute it or not.
I think it would be a good idea to have the screener maintain the log.
Right.
Well, but, yeah, as far as the department heads, and they may want to use yours if it's out there for them.
We'll offer it. If they want to use it, they can. If not, I guess that's their call. Okay, that's all.
I have a question. County employees, probably all of them got keys, so we're gonna just let them use their own keys and come in if they want.
I would think so. Yeah. Our employees, that was the other, I can't remember who brought that up this morning, but a self-screening for the employees, which I would hope that would be done anyway, regardless of this, but maybe if we reiterate that, I think Lindsay was gonna distribute that to the department heads.
And we do monitor activity after hours by camera. If for some reason we see some activity after hours, we'll investigate it. See what I'm saying? If somebody comes at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, no, I was getting that, basically, the employee wakes up in the morning.
Oh,
Said, I don't feel good, but I'm gonna go in anyway.
I see what you're
You can
saying.
self-screen, and
Right.
if you can't pass the screening, that the public has to pass to come into the building.
That's what we're doing currently with our staff, is the same thing. So-
Yeah,
Yeah, I see what you're saying now. I thought you were talking after hours or something.
And there's a self-screening form that, maybe, I don't know if all departments have that, they probably should, so that this can be.
I can get with Lindsay or Russell and make sure that probably have the health department put that out.
We're gonna have another commissioners meeting Wednesday.
At this time, I don't think so. I would say that there's probably a higher than average possibility of the need for a special meeting. But until I get word of that, a recommendation that from either Wade or the health officer or the emergency management, I don't see a need to schedule one for a specific time right now, but just don't go anywhere.
Wade, we had a question we talked about a little bit while you were out. The chairman, as we understand, the chairman can call a special meeting anytime he wants to. But also 3 commissioners have the right to call a meeting, is that correct? And that being said, if that is correct, 3 of us aren't supposed to be talking to each other. 2 of us can. And, you know, it's way, as fast as everything's moving, chances are Cody's gonna be in a position to call it himself. So we was curious how commissioners could actually call it themselves.
I think, there's a lot of gray area right now because this is something new. So I think my interpretation of what the recommendations are out of the AG's office is, as long as the entity is doing its best to operate under the confines of COMA, there's gonna be some discretion because there's a lot of new here. And I think the best practice would be for Cody to make it happen, but in the situation where, and I don't know what that situation would be. If 3 commissioners have a conversation about having a meeting, they're not necessarily discussing county business, they're just talking about having an emergency meeting. So I think as long as that is made clear, that there's no talk about anything else, then there may be some latitude there.
Okay, so Cody calls a meeting, does he call each of us, or does he call our clerk and then the clerk contacts us individually?
And the best practice would be for someone to call each of you, but I think if Cody called and said we're gonna have a meeting, it's not gonna.
It'd be just like a Wolf Creek drill, but it's
Basically.
that's all he's saying is we're going to have the meeting.
And we're not, there's no discussion of
Right.
county business. I mean, it's the appearance that's the key. So I think beginning of the meeting, we're having an emergency meeting. Chairman contacted each one of the commissioners to let them know we're having the meeting because our next regularly scheduled meeting was next week. We're having one on Thursday because whatever reason, that was the contact that was made, nothing else was discussed. That way it's preserved for public consumption. If someone wants to question, well, how did they know? This is how they knew, and you cover that basis and those hurdles, and somebody could still complain, and I think in my opinion, that would be, maybe it gets looked into, and if that's all that occurred, then I don't think that would be an issue. Yeah,
You're at 128.
Leave these,
Turn you off, Brad.
leave these over there.